Hello, fans of all ages. Thank you once again for tuning in to a brand new episode of this podcast. Cold and rainy and overall bad weather outside. And we got some big football games coming up. So I figured today was a perfect day to go over some of the big news in sports involving baseball and the pitch clock. It's Championship Sunday, 2 weeks until the Super Bowl. So with all of that being said, let's start off with the first game of Championship Sunday. The Packers at the Seahawks. Kickoff at approximately 3:05. I got to tell you, Championship Sunday, honestly, is sometimes better than the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is very commercial. Championship Sunday, you get straight football. Sometimes you get games better than the Super Bowl. Last year, the NFC Championship game between the Niners and Seahawks was 1,000 times better than the Super Bowl last year. And I wouldn't be surprised if it happens again with this game. The Packers and Seahawks, I think, definitely the two best teams in the NFC, probably the two best teams in the league. Two great quarterbacks going at it once again. A great defense versus an amazing offense. What more can you ask for on Championship Sunday? Right now, Seattle is favored by 8. And with a hurt Aaron Rodgers, that is definitely possible. I think if the Seahawks want to win this game, let alone by the spread, just win the game in general, I think what they have to do is blitz Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers cannot move. He has a sprained calf, a torn calf. He has so many things wrong with his calf. You figure as soon as the season's over, he's probably going to go under the knife. Aaron Rodgers in the last 2 years is 0-5 against top 5 defenses. And Seattle, amazing defense, amazing home field advantage. They are a completely different team at home, as we all know. And I think that if the defensive line gets to Aaron Rodgers quickly, I think if they rush 5, 6, 7 guys, Aaron Rodgers is going to have a very tough time evading some sacks. He's going to have a tough time trying to get out of the pocket. And he's not going to be mobile. He's not going to be able to move. Last week he was hobbling down the field trying to snap the ball. It was a shame to watch. I mean, the guy could not move. He's a completely different quarterback. Packers were 12-4 in the regular season. All 4 of those losses came on the road. And one of the losses, the first loss, their first game of the year, was at Seattle. They got beat 36-16. I think you get one hard hit on Rodgers, and he's going to be in a lot of trouble. I think the Packers, what they have to do is just hold Seattle back at the line. If they give Rodgers time, then the Packers are going to have a good game today. Rodgers, we all know, probably the best quarterback in the league right now, definitely top 3, top 4. If that Packers O-line gives him room to throw, if they give him time to throw, and if they give Eddie Lacy holes in the trenches, then this is going to be a dogfight from the first whistle to the final whistle. I'm surprised that Detroit and Dallas did not blitz Aaron Rodgers as much as they did. It is clear that Rodgers is hurt. It is clear that he is hanging on by a thread. And you know Seattle's going to take advantage of that. They take advantage of every team's weak spots. They're the best defense in the league. Like I said, Seattle favored by 8. The over-under is 44.5. I would take the over, but I don't bet often, and this is a reason why. This game is a reason why. I'm not fully convinced that Aaron Rodgers will play like he has never played before. I'm not convinced that Aaron Rodgers is going to have a lot of time to throw. It's a coin flip, but either way, I do think Seattle is going to win. I have said all year long that I believe that the top 2 seeds would be the Packers and the Seahawks, and I thought that whatever team had home field advantage of the 2 was going to make it to the Super Bowl. And I think it's going to happen today. I think Seahawks win. and move on to Arizona. The Colts and Patriots will kick off at New England at approximately 6:40 Eastern Time. Colts 11-5 coming off of wins against the Broncos and Bengals. Last week, I thought that Denver was going to beat the Colts. I did not know that Peyton Manning was playing with a torn quad. If Peyton Manning was healthy, that game would have been a lot different. But things went the Colts' way. I mean, Peyton couldn't find anybody. And when he did find someone, Demaryius dropped a couple easy balls. I love Andrew Luck. I think this guy, we should just put him in the Hall of Fame now. But I still think that the Colts are a bit overrated. Besides Denver and an unhealthy Denver, they're not beating great teams, and all of their losses have been against playoff teams except one, Philly. These two teams met back in Week 11 in Indianapolis, and the Patriots took that one home 42-20, and I'm not going to be surprised if that happens again today. I think the Patriots are, without a doubt, the best team in the AFC. They are the real deal. They have a bunch of weapons. They have Edelman, who can now throw the ball. They have Brandon LaFell. They have Rob Gronkowski, who is an animal and undoubtedly the best tight end this year. And with the Patriots being the Patriots, they can have one nobody that you've never even heard of go off, and he's a household name the next week. As much as I would love to see the Packers against the Colts, I would love to see Andrew Luck play in the Super Bowl, and I'm a fan of the Packers. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be Seahawks and Patriots. I've said that since July. And if that happens, I think Seattle repeats. I think if Seattle wins today, they're going to win the Super Bowl no matter who they play. Seattle is just on a different level than everyone else. Their defense is top-notch. They have a phenomenal running back in Marshawn Lynch. Russell Wilson is emerging into a top 7 quarterback if he's not there already. You know that if the Seahawks win another Super Bowl, Russell Wilson's going to be in elite talks if he's not already. But going back to the Patriots and Colts tonight, over-under is 52. I would take the over on that. I think these are both high-powered offenses, and I think both Brady and Luck are probably going to go for 3 or 4 touchdowns each. Patriots are favored by 7. I would take the Patriots on that. I think that it's going to be a shootout. I don't think there's going to be a lot of defense involved, but there are going to be a lot of touchdowns scored. You assume Gronk is going to have one. Edelman's probably going to have one. Andrew Luck is going to throw for a couple, and Dan Herron might run for a couple. It's going to be a high-scoring game, and I think the Patriots win by more than a touchdown. Going to be a very, very exciting day today. This is what we wait for all year in football season. This is why football is great. It's the best. It's the most popular sport in the country. People around the globe are going to be tuning into this game, as well as the game tonight. And I think today, every possible quarterback matchup, every possible Super Bowl matchup is amazing. You have, in my opinion, the 3 best teams in the league in the Seahawks, Packers, and Patriots. And in my opinion, Andrew Luck is an elite quarterback. I think he's definitely top 5. You have 3 top 5 quarterbacks in the playoffs. What more can you ask for on Championship Sunday? It's great. I love it. So the news broke the other day that a week before Bud Selig retires as commissioner of baseball, he's implementing, a pitch clock in AAA and AA. 20 seconds where the pitch has to be thrown or else it's called the ball. There are a lot of pros and cons to this. I'm going to get into the good things about it first. A, it's going to speed up the game. B, it's going to increase viewership because it's speeding up the game. People don't watch the sport anymore because it's slow. Baseball is a slow-paced game. It is. And as the times have gone by, it's gone even slower and slower. And that's why people don't watch it anymore, because they can't take that it takes over a minute and a half to throw a pitch sometimes. The batters are going out of the batter's box, fixing their batting gloves, doing this, tapping their helmet, putting on more pine tar. The pitchers are praying behind the mound. It's a whole mess. I was the type of pitcher who always got the ball, got on the mound, wanted to throw. I like to work quickly. I didn't want the batter getting comfortable ever. The pitchers today let the batters get comfortable. And while pitching has gotten better and 285 is the new 300, you can't let batters get comfortable like that. So now that the clock is on, it's going to be an advantage for the pitchers, in my opinion. Now for the bad things. A, there is already a rule in the MLB rulebook that says the pitcher has 12 seconds to throw the pitch. Otherwise, it's called a ball. Why? That's they're already going against the rule anyway because they don't call it. And now they're putting a 20-second pitch clock when the rule says 12 seconds. Either don't put the clock in or implement the rule. Or change the rule that's for 20 seconds. And B, it's ruining the game. Now, I just said that it's going to increase viewership. I get it. It's going to be fast-paced. But the great thing about baseball is that you have to get 27 outs. There's no time limit. The game is not over in 3 hours. You got to play 9 innings minimum, barring a rainout after 5 innings. And you got to get every guy out. The game's not over until the last out's made. The game, most sports are over when the clock hits all zeros. That's not baseball, and that's what is great about it. Now they're adding time to it. And for guys like me, baseball is by far my favorite sport. I'm counting down the days to opening day, 78. But the way that my generation has been taught baseball and the way the next generation is going to be taught baseball is completely different. It's going to be 2 different games. And on top of that, is it really worth saving 10 minutes? What's the difference between 250 and 3 hours? 10 minutes? Do you really not have the attention span to watch a sport for 3 hours? If you don't have the attention span to watch it, then don't watch it. Okay. Obviously, the commissioner doesn't want that, and the owners don't want that. They want as many viewers as possible so they can pay their players and they can make a profit. But it's sad that people don't have the attention span to watch this sport anymore. If it's a 3-hour game, it's a 3-hour game. It's a 5-hour game, it's a 5-hour game. If the game's 2 hours, it's 2 hours. You pay to watch a baseball game, and that's it. By the way, I have seen a ton of football games and basketball games that go over 3 hours. The first quarter of the college football playoff, it took almost 50 minutes. 5-0. And the final 2 minutes of a basketball game, don't even get me started. That takes a half hour to finish the final 2 minutes of a basketball game. That is ridiculous. Now let's go over the clock itself. When does the clock start? Does it start when the pitcher gets on the mound? Does it start when the pitcher gets the ball? Does it start when the batter gets in the batter's box? When does it start? And on top of that, I said before that I always worked quickly on the mound. But when I'm going from the stretch, I like to take a while. That is the best way to get the batter uncomfortable because they have to stay in the same stance for however long you decide to throw. You get into runners' heads, and when you change up your looks, you can go set, look, go, set, look, do whatever you want for 25 seconds. I don't think it's the pitcher's problem. I think it's the hitter's problem. The hitters are the ones that dilly-dally and fix their batting gloves and do the whole 9. I mean, in the Arizona Fall League, the hitters were required to have 1 foot in the batter's box at all times. I think that is what you need to experiment with, not the pitch clock. But anyway, 12 seconds from when the pitcher's on the mound, or 20 seconds, excuse me, 20 seconds from when the pitcher gets the ball and 20 minutes from when the pitcher gets on the mound, that makes a big difference. If it's 20 seconds from when the pitcher gets on the mound, it's not going to help. If it's 20 seconds from when the pitcher gets the ball, then it'll help. And I like that the game's going to get faster. I'm not opposed to it, but whether it's 6 hours long or if it's 2 hours long, I'm going to sit there and watch it. People complain about the length of Yankees-Red Sox games. I don't complain. I stay up and watch the game. I don't care. And if you're a baseball lifer like I am, you would do the same thing. If you're not a big baseball fan, I get it. You're not going to sit there and watch 3 hours of baseball. I'm not the kind of guy to say, how can you not watch baseball for 3 hours? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it gets boring to the average person. But I don't think that baseball should change the rules because society is changing. All I know is that we have one more week with Bud Selig, and he's gone. And I can't wait. Bud Selig was the most hypocritical commissioner ever. From the steroids in sports to making the game fat, whatever, he was all around terrible. I think he was terrible, and I can't wait for Rob Manfred to come in because I think he's going to do a great job. We already know how much the guy loves baseball. We know how much he wants to change the game, but in a good way. And I'm excited for January 25th, the day Selig retires. All right, that's going to do it. Short episode today. But either way, thank you very much for tuning in. Stay warm, stay dry. The weather is bad. Be careful on the roads. Go enjoy some football today. Let's not goodbye, and see you later. Take care, everybody.